Good evening, folks. Tonight's video is going to be covering the Floureon CCTV DVR box again. For some reason I have not been getting notifications when people have been commenting my other Floureon videos, and I did try and address some of the questions directly online, but I wasn't even scratching the surface. There was literally hundreds of unanswered questions. So I thought it'd be far easier just to do a quick video. Well, it might not be a quick video, but a video basically talking through those problems, addressing them as best I can, and if not, basically suggesting you contact Floureon support via email. They are pretty good. I have used them myself when I had an issue with upgrading the firmware, and they do respond fairly quickly, so they are good. I will say that. So yeah, so we'll address the questions as best I can, like I say, and I'll also take you through the entire menu system pretty much, and that will basically serve double sort of purpose of answering the questions that have been asked, but also sort of future-proofing me, if you like, because, you know, if somebody's got a problem, they'll be able to watch the video and see where to adjust the required setting for the issue they're experiencing. So hopefully that all made sense. But yeah, without further ado, let's crack on. The first question, or two questions, I can cover in the same sort of segment, if you like, and that is, what is the nighttime performance like in full darkness? Well, it's as you can probably see up here in the camera, it is 23:23 in the UK, and it is totally dark outside, bar some quite dim white LED street lighting. We did have the old orange sodium street lamps up until a few months ago, and yeah, it was pretty much the same picture, so it doesn't matter what sort of street lighting you've got. And I have to say, if I turned the infrared off on this camera, I can't obviously, but if I could, it would be a dark image. You know, it is quite dim outside, so the illumination you're seeing here is infrared from the camera, pretty much. So yeah, that is the kind of performance you're going to get in almost full darkness, you know, in the UK at least. I stay in a fairly rural area. There's not much other ambient light other than the odd street lamp, but yeah, that's the kind of performance you got. At the back here, it's a bit noisier, and that is because it is a lot darker. You can just see here, there's a street lamp there, and it's quite a narrow beam onto the road, and you can always see the sort of circular patch where the light's coming down. So the back garden is pretty much in total darkness. So again, this is just purely infrared illumination, and this is a fairly noisy picture. I don't think it's helped the fact there's a spider's web there. But yeah, so that is your nighttime performance. Another question that was asked was, how do I get it to display all the cameras or cycle through the cameras? Okay, so there's two options here. You've got the option to have the split screen mode, which you can select using view 4, which will give you this quartered screen. If you do have only 2 cameras or 3 cameras, obviously you're going to get a dark square where there's no camera connected. So to select an individual camera, we can right click and click view 1 and then click camera 1, for instance. Or the easiest way to do it is just to double click on the relevant quarter, and that will bring it up. So if you want it to cycle through, we'll go to main menu, we will go to system, we'll click tour, and that's the thing that normally catches people out, because it's not a tour of the system, it is basically a tour of the cameras. So we select enable tour, and we can select, I don't have 3 and 4 connected, so we're only selecting 1 and 2, and we can select the view 4 if we want, but I'll just deselect that. And then what we'll do is we'll click OK, and cancel that, and when it's on full screen mode, every 5 seconds it will switch between cameras, like so, and that will just continue to do that until you stop it. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll quickly go in and turn that off, because I think it might be quite distracting. Okay, we'll go back to 4 view. Right, so that's where main menu. We'll go into that in detail. The next one is guide, and this is the initial setup wizard. So if you've skipped it, whatever, you want to get back to it, again, the word guide would suggest to me it's like a user manual. It's not, it's this pre-set up system. So if you go through, we're obviously going to select a date and time, etc., where we are. I've skipped the network because it's not currently connected just now because I've got my computer connected in the workshop. But that is the, if you click next, it will bring up those 2 QR codes, and that is where you will download the app for your smartphone, be it iPhone or Android. And the app downloads and installs, and you log in, create an account and log in, and that's you. Now I won't click next because that will bring up a QR code with my serial number on it, which obviously I don't want you to see because I don't need to watch my cameras. But the system, essentially how it works, and I won't be getting into too much into the network side of things, but basically when you connect your DVR box to your router, it basically starts connecting, or it connects itself to the web service, if you like. So your box will automatically start sending out the images to a server, remote server somewhere in the world. When you scan the QR code with your serial number, essentially the smartphone app will take that serial number. It will then check the server and see all the required network details of where that serial number is located in terms of IP address and where it is in the network. And once you log in, it basically connects the two together, and that's how it works. So yeah, as long as you follow the download the app, register an account, as long as you've got that serial number, either by typing it in manually or scanning the QR code from the guide, then it will work. We've got a record mode. So I've got, you can see, I've got it schedule. So I've just got it set to record 1 and 2. I'm not recording 3 and 4. We could select to record 3 and 4, but obviously those 2 cameras are currently vacant just now, and all that's going to do is going to be taking up more space in your hard drive, which obviously we don't need to do. So we're only selecting schedule for the actual cameras we've got, and that's pretty much that. Playback is exactly what you would think it is. We can just start playing back. We can click. I can't actually show you down here. No, basically down at the bottom here there's an option called sync mode, and if you click sync mode, it basically synchronizes the 2 cameras together. So that is the 2 cameras. If I go back to a daytime, yeah, that's the kind of stuff you get, and that synchronizes it. So this chap here walking his dog, I don't know if you can make that out, but if he'd walked this way, we'd have seen him walking there, and then a short moment later walking around the side. We can use the mouse wheel to jog through the time. There's various modes which are quite self-explanatory. We can fast forward 4 times speed, I think is the maximum, yeah, and slow-mo and all that good stuff. We can also export from here as well, by clicking the, if I just stop there, I can't find the export mode. Wait to see. Start editing. So we can edit it. We can select what we want, start and stop times, etc., and then we can eventually export it. For some reason, it's not wanting to select the export mode, but I might be being a bit silly here. Wait till we see again. Sorry about this. I say I'm not an expert, so to see. There we go. So we pick a start point and a stop point, and then we can click back up, and then what that does is allows us to back up to a memory device like a USB stick which can plug in. So that's how we do that. So apologies for that. Yeah, that wasn't a brilliant explanation. For most people, you won't have the need to use PTZ control and high-speed PTZ. Basically, PTZ is uses a serial interface to basically move a camera. So if you've got a camera that's got pan and tilt, you can connect it to this unit with the obviously the required cabling and actually move the camera. you know, move the camera by means of that on-screen display there, that one there. We've got colour setting, which is exactly what it says in the tin, so we can brighten up the screen or, you know, whatever it is on individual cameras. But yeah, you won't really need to adjust that in normal circumstances. Okay, so the next thing we've got is output adjust. So this is the output onto the actual display itself. So no idea what some of these are. Oh, this is just like the, yeah, for sizing the, what do you call it, your monitor, you know, the output size. So if it's cut off, you can adjust it to fit the screen essentially. Obviously that as well. What's that, black vertical? Don't know what those do. Not something you need to adjust. Display settings, so you can select VGA, HDMI. That's what I've got. You can adjust the brightness as you would be able to on, you know, on a screen. So, oh, that's actually a lot better. Ah, see, I'd never actually even looked at that. I mean, I know that's, you know, that's much better. Yeah, still a bit noisy, but yeah, that's much better. Yeah, well, there we go. I've learnt something. That's pretty good. Maybe not quite as much as it is there, but yeah, that's much better image. So that's what output adjust does, and obviously we can log out, and I've already showed you the views. So we'll get into the main menu now, and we'll take you through each setting in turn. So we've got record configuration. So you select these, what do you call it? Select whatever camera it is, and you can record, you know, whatever. Excuse me, sorry. You can record whatever you want in terms of timing. I've just got it set to all for both cameras 2 and 1 and 2, sorry. And as you can see, camera 3 and 4 are greyed out because there's no point in recording them, because as it stands there isn't any connected to it. Playback, yeah, we've already covered that via the other menu. And backup, that allows you to record those little segments. If you know, if there's an incident that happens, you can edit it down to a short clip and then export onto a pen drive to then view on a Windows computer or a Mac or whatever, and give it to the police or that kind of thing. We've got an alarm function, so we've got motion detect, and what this allows us to do is, well, as the name would suggest, detect motion. So we select whatever camera we want. So we're, in this case, we're using channel 1, and if we just click set, this will give us a grid system over the displayed image. So if I wanted, for instance, to see somebody going near my car door, I could just drag a box over the car door, and then whenever you know, there's movement detected in front of the car door there, it will put a flag on the playback. So there's a green bar along the bottom of the playback. If it detects movement, it will put a red sort of flag on there so you can actually see what's happened. You know, and it highlights, so rather than you traipsing through lots and lots of recorded video, the little red flag will show you when movement's happened in that specific area. And it makes trying to find stuff that a little bit easier. You can select individual boxes like so, and that's pretty handy if you wanted to say cover a doorway. You could, you know, cover a certain area, and it will only detect movement in that. And again, you just select that for the you know, required sort of areas. I've put one over my shed here. I don't know why, but yeah, you can put it there. So anything that goes near my shed, that's going to put a flag up, which is quite handy. And then just click OK. We've got video blind, and what that'll do is if somebody covers a camera, it will put a flag. And both these are tied in, or all these are tied in with what do you call it? With the email system, which I haven't set up. I'll tell you that right now. If you're waiting for anything to do with email yet, I haven't set that up, but I will cover it later. So motion detect, video blind, let's say that's when the system is still receiving a video signal, but it is totally dark. it will flag for video blind, i.e. somebody's covered the camera. We've got video loss, you know, if the cable gets cut or the power is lost to the camera, it will alert for that, an abnormality. Not sure what that is, I haven't really looked into that, but yeah, those are the three main alarm functions. We've got our system set up, so we've got general, which has got our again, timings and all that good stuff. We've got our encoding settings. You shouldn't really need to change this, but it just basically changes the quality. I won't get into network and net service because obviously those have got my details in there, but the network, let's say it will automatically configure, certainly on a BT home hub, it will automatically set that up for you and connect. And the net service is where your email gets put in. Now, I did say I was going to cover it later on, so I'll do that now. I haven't been able to set up the email function. I did try initially with no success. I updated the firmware with no success. Well, I updated the firmware successfully, but it didn't resolve the email issue. And to be honest, I have no real requirement to set up the email on this unit, so that is honestly why I haven't done it. There is people have commented on my videos, tell me how to do it. I just haven't tried, and that's my honest thing. So if you do have an email issue, then please look through the comments in all these videos, and you will see solutions to it on there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Display, yeah, the basic stuff. Make sure your monitor can handle the required resolution, or the resolution you require. I mistakenly selected this 720, 1280 by 720, and my monitor had a massive hissy fit and locked up, and I couldn't basically see the display, so that was a bit of a nightmare. We've got a thing called region cover as well, which is quite handy, and this is another common question I keep getting asked. I've got a black square on my camera, how do I get rid of it? You go into region cover. So if we go to region cover, we select it on, and we'll just use camera 1. We can set the region cover much in the same way as you'd adjust a window or something on Windows, or that kind of thing. And say, I don't know, say we want to block here, say we don't want to see anybody here. We can adjust that box, right click and then click OK, and then as you can see up here, it is blanked off that region. So we'll take that off, and that's a common question, like I say, and we'll do that. Okay, again we've got our config for PTZ for pan and tilt cameras. We've got our RS232 settings for the serial. 2 we've already covered, that's the one that switches between cameras. We've got digital, which allows you to search for the channel types or change the channel types, but you should not need to set this up at all. Yeah, mine's has got capable. I think mine's are 960 cameras, 960 lines, and they're analog high definition. I don't know how the IP cameras work, how those connect, but yeah, that's pretty much that in there. You shouldn't need to do that at all. We've got our advanced settings. In here we've got our storage details. One of the questions in here was it was greyed out and wouldn't, didn't appear to be recording. Well, mine's is greyed out as well, but I think that was pretty much I think basically the individual that was having that problem was using the record. They hadn't actually set it to record certain channels. So if you are having a problem with greyed out storage and it not recording, it's probably because you haven't set up the record mode in your box. We've got account details. Account details just tells you the actual users who can log into it remotely, etc. So if you've only got the admin, which is obviously here, and the user, you can basically block anybody else from connecting unless they've got the password. Online user, yeah, that just shows who's actually connected remotely. Output adjust, yeah, we've already sort of covered that. Auto maintain, yeah, you can get the system to automatically reboot. You know, delete the backup files, or sorry, delete up the old files and free up space. We've got restore, to restore it back to default settings. We've got upgrade, which we can do either online over the internet or using a USB pen, which is the way I did it. Get device info, which I won't go into, but that basically tells you the device name, the serial number, the IP address, and all that good stuff. And then we've got our import and export, and you know, we can obviously export things to USB, etc. as required. And that is it, pretty much. So yeah, we've covered that nighttime performance, how to mask the image, how to brighten the image, how to set up motion detect. I've explained how the online app works. You know, basically it checks your serial number and will connect based on your serial number, so there's no actual reason or need to set up an actual connection to a remote server. What else? We've covered this alarms and different functions that gives you. As you can see, this is actually saying motion detect here, just because the spider's web is moving within that masked zone. Yeah, sorry, I digress. Yeah, covered playback, basically covered the whole menu system. Trying to think what other things really asked. People asking about cameras being mounted inside, saying that they can't see the image at night because it's just swamping out with white, and all that simply is to the naked eye, the front of your camera at night time will look at a very dim red glow, but to a camera picking up infrared radiation, it will be pure white. It's like pointing a remote control at your camera on your phone. I'll see if this works here. You can just see that purple there, just about. Yeah, that is infrared radiation. But to these cameras, like I say, it will be picked up pure white. So if you've got your cameras mounted inside your property with a window in between, what's going to happen is the camera is detecting that it's dark because there's no ambient light. The camera is then turning on infrared. That infrared is hitting the glass and reflecting straight back into the camera, swamping out the image. There's only one solution to that, or two. One is to disable, actually open the camera up and physically disconnect the infrared board, which is obviously kind of pointless. And the realistic and only option, in my opinion, is to mount the camera outside. If you don't want to start, drilling holes, if you get a listed building or your landlord won't allow you to drill holes, you can get just a standard, I think is it a 1/4 inch camera mount or 1/8 inch or whatever it is, camera mount, and basically with a suction cup, screw the camera onto that, stick it onto your window outside, and just run the cable in through the window. The seal will seal round it. They're fairly thin cables, so that's my only real solution to that. These, I don't know off the top of my head whether they can use IP cameras. I'm not sure at all. There is potential. We saw a setting in there about channels, and it did say IP camera. So I don't know if IP cameras can connect to it through the network and record. But I would, if I was guessing, I would say yes, they can, but I'm not sure. I've not had the need to do that. So a really common question, sorry, to that end, a really common question is, yeah, it's predominantly for wired cameras, this system. So you are going to have to run cables. I think I showed in the unboxing, the cables are a combined video and power lead, and you know, they're fairly easy to run, and they're thin enough that you can get them through a crack in a door, or you know, through a window seal, if you don't want to go drilling holes through walls, etc. So that's answer to that one. I think that's really about it. In terms of can you record to it without installing a hard drive? No, you cannot. You must install a hard drive to enable backup function or record function, you cannot connect an external hard drive to the unit. You can obviously connect USB devices for backing up what you've already recorded, but to record the actual image, it must be to an internally fitted hard drive. Most of these units don't come with them. It's a bare unit that you install yourself. But some sellers on eBay and Amazon and places like that will sell you one pre-installed with a hard drive. I've got I forget how many gigabyte hard drives, a 320 gigabyte hard drive I think is in this unit, and that records about 6 days using 2 cameras. Obviously if you've got 4 cameras, then that will probably be halved, more or less halved. I think again I've mentioned in comments and stuff before, if you want a source of cheap hard drives, look in your local sales and wants pages on Facebook and your local ads, Gumtree, Spock, and what is it called, Spock or whatever it is, all these kind of online car boot places, and look for 1 and 2 terabyte or even 500 gigabyte Sky boxes. You get them, pick them up for a tenner. You open them up, you take the hard drive out, you put it into the box, format it, and you've got a cheap, high capacity storage unit for minimum cost. So that's a little top tip for you. I think really that's pretty much it now. I don't know if there was any other questions that I haven't answered directly or showed you in the settings. I'll close with saying I've been using this unit now for 6 months, and I have to say it has functioned perfectly for those 6 months. I've not had to do anything to it. I've just set it up and it works fine. When I plug let's say I've had to unplug the network cable to use it for my computer tonight. But you just plug it in, it connects to the network, go into the app, it works. There's absolutely no problems with that. And when I have used the Floureon's technical support, they have been really helpful. So that's pretty much it. Let's say 6 months on, I would definitely still recommend it. Still very impressed with it for the cost. And just to recap, I think I paid somewhere in the region of £50, and that was next day delivery, the recorder, 2 cameras, and all the wiring. Basically, absolutely everything to get it to this point where it's up, it's running. The only addition was that hard drive which I had lying around in the workshop. So definitely recommend it. For the price, I don't think you're going to get anything better. I think they've really covered most angles with this piece of kit. It is kind of a no-brainer in this day and age. For £50, work that out over the year. It's not a lot. And the peace of mind that gives you, I think it's a really good investment. And you can obviously add the cameras on at a later date. The cameras are running around sort of £15, £10 to £15, depending where you get them. And you don't have to get Floureon. I've got obviously Floureon cameras and they're performing really well, as you can see. But they're all pretty much the same price. So any camera will work on this. Best obviously to get analog HD if you can, but I have tested it with even a really cheap basic mono one that I've had for about 10 years and it worked. It clearly wasn't as good quality as this, but it did work. Right, that's half an hour gone. Sorry for dragging this out, but hopefully this video will help some people out. If you have any questions, by all means I will check them more regularly and answer those directly. So please do continue to ask questions if you're still stuck, and I obviously don't mind at all answering those for you. That's about it. Until next time, as always, please like and subscribe if you've found this helpful or useful. I don't imagine you enjoyed this video, but please like and subscribe and help support my channel. And until next time, take care of yourselves and all the best. Cheers.